You ever have one of those days, or maybe weeks, where you feel like you're running on a hamster wheel? You're putting in all the effort, you're exhausted, but you're not actually getting anywhere? Well, that is the exact trap our main character, Diesel, finds himself in. He's a firm believer that good intentions and just trying really, really hard should be enough. In this explainer, we're going to follow his story and see why that's such a dangerous myth. So, right off the bat, this quote tells you everything you need to know about Diesel's philosophy. He thinks positive thinking is so powerful that just imagining the work is done is basically the same as doing it. And, we all visualize success, right? But as we're about to see, there's a huge, huge gap between picturing the finish line and actually running the race. And this gets us to the very first problem: action without a mission. This is that classic busy for the sake of being busy syndrome. You can have all the energy in the world, but if you don't have a destination, you're just spinning your wheels. It feels productive, but it gets you absolutely nowhere. Okay, so here we go. Diesel is literally handed a map, a step-by-step guide to get the job done, and what does he do? He tosses it aside. He calls it creative free will, but let's be honest, it's really a resistance to following a proven path. He's way more in love with the idea of the struggle than he is with actually, succeeding efficiently. So with his creative free will fully engaged, Diesel spends the next 2 hours wandering around the yard. He's contemplating. He's soaking in the atmosphere. He's convinced himself that this is all a crucial part of the process, this deep, meaningful pre-work. And this is where reality hits. Hard. After 2 full hours of his meaningful contribution, what did he actually accomplish? He put a lid on a trash can, and he picked up one single piece of paper. You see the disconnect? In his head, he's a productivity master. In reality, he's barely done a thing. So when his dad points this out, Diesel asks a question that is just wow. It gets to the very core of the problem. He genuinely doesn't get why knowing the goal is important. For him, the act of being busy should be enough. And that right there, that's the mindset that keeps so many of us stuck, just confusing motion with actual progress. All right, so now we're moving into phase 2, the myth of trying hard. Diesel finally has a mission: split the woodpile. But instead of changing his approach, what does he do? He just doubles down on his worst instinct, the idea that you can solve any problem just by throwing more brute force at it. This slide just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, look at that effort. Hours of work, he's drenched in sweat, his hands are stinging, he's literally trying to split a log with 10 different screwdrivers. The effort is off the charts. Now, look at the right. The result? A big fat 0. Not a single log split. All that pain and sweat just created one log that looks like a pincushion. It's the perfect picture of wasted energy. And here it is, the classic defense mechanism. When the results don't back you up, you just change the definition of success. He can't point to a pile of split wood, so instead he says success is just a feeling. He's basically arguing, hey, I tried really hard, and I feel good about that, so I succeeded. This brings us to a really critical moment, a fork in the road we all face at some point. When our best efforts aren't working, what do? Do we swallow our pride and ask for help? Or do we just dig in our heels? Diesel, well, he chooses pride, and that's how you fall right into the pride trap. See? His father, the expert, offers to show him how it's done, and Diesel sees it as humiliating, a personal failure. So where does he turn? To YouTube. It's such a common thing, right? We'll spend hours looking for an anonymous, impersonal solution online just to avoid the vulnerability of asking for help from the person standing right next to us. And what are the results of his research? 4 hours, gone, down a YouTube rabbit hole of funny cat videos or whatever. He completely forgets his original mission, and he wakes up the next day feeling even more drained than when he was doing the actual physical work. It's a perfect lesson in how distraction can be way more exhausting than labor. So what's his next brilliant idea? Well, if one person using the wrong technique isn't working, maybe 5 people using the wrong technique will. He mistakes a problem of method for a problem of manpower. And the result is just chaos. They're just multiplying the wrong effort over and over, and it gets them absolutely nowhere. And finally, he hits rock bottom. He admits it. He failed, and he feels terrible about it. But just look at his proposed solution. It's not, let's figure out what I did wrong. It's, let's celebrate our failure with more distraction. He is desperate to escape the problem instead of solving it. But right here, at his lowest point, having tried everything you can possibly imagine, except for the one thing that would actually work, Diesel is finally out of bad ideas. And it's only now that he's open to the one thing that was available to him the entire time, mentorship. So his father shows him the secret. And of course, it's not a secret at all. It's just the correct way to do it. Use the right tool. A splitting maul, not a screwdriver. Position it correctly. And strike. Simple. Effective. And it was there for the taking the entire time, hidden only by a wall of pride. And just like that, everything changes. The impossible, frustrating task suddenly becomes simple. The source of all his stress becomes a source of satisfaction. This is the incredible power you unlock when you finally pair your effort with the right strategy. You go from total confusion to actual mastery. 2 hours. Just let that sink in for a second. The task that took days of stress and sweat and failure was completely finished in less time than it takes to watch a movie. The lesson couldn't be clearer. It was never, ever about working harder. It was always about working smarter. And here it is, the big takeaway from Diesel's whole journey, put into a simple formula. Number 1, know your mission. Number 2, use the right tools and the right methods. And number 3, maybe the most important of all, be humble enough to learn from someone who's already figured it out. That's the shortcut. Because in the end, this story isn't really about splitting wood, is it? It's about us. It's about the challenges we all face. So the question to leave you with is this. What's the impossible woodpile in your life right now? And are you attacking it with a splitting maul, or are you still just hammering away with a screwdriver?